And we're back with some more oxygen not included. And all the duplicants here are trained up quite nicely. There's a few of them that still need to run on the wheel for a while longer, but we do have an opportunity that has presented itself. Pip eggs. These things can drastically help pump up our mood around the base. We want to hatch those as soon as possible, so I think we're going to throw down another incubator and get one of those hatched so that we can start utilizing them to plant a few wildflowers. Perfect. Once we get one of those up and running, we can use them to plant some wildflowers into our hallway here, and that'll give us a nice wild... Oh, what's it the room bonus is called? Wait a minute. What happened to nature reserve? There's no nature reserve listed in here. Did they get rid of those? Huh. I suppose we'll find out when the pips hatch. That's going to make things different. Actually, we've got a few plants in here. It might be an idea to maybe test and see if we can create a nature reserve of our own. Never mind. Yes, you can make a nature reserve still. Okay, I was just wondering. So that's a park. Room size 15. If we crank that up, we could probably make it a bit better. Okay then. Well, that's good to know. That just doesn't show... It just didn't show up in here, which was what was confusing me. So it turns out I'm an idiot. There's actually a scroll bar here now. In my defense, there was less rooms before. We had no need for a scroll bar. Yeah, so there is actually a park and a nature reserve listed here. All we need is 4 wild plants and a park sign and a size of 32 tiles. I think we can fit one here in between our ladder system, so everyone coming out of their bedrooms or going into the bathrooms will get the bonus. Just makes it far easier. In fact, we'll probably bring it all the way down to here, so anyone leaving through the atmosuit docks will also get the bonus. A +6 mood, or a +6 morale to everyone will make keeping everyone happy in the atmosuits much easier. You, though, will take a while. Even at that lullaby speed, it's going to be about 4 more cycles before you're ready to go. But let's start getting some prep work in place. We're going to want to seal in this area, so doors are going to be necessary top to bottom. Oh, but before we do that, yes, we should probably go over what our numbers are looking like right now. Food-wise, if we were to live entirely on mushrooms, we have enough slime right now. I think it's 10.7 kilos, 10.71 kilos per duplicant per cycle to feed them for about 220 days. Or sorry, 220 cycles. So we've got about 220 cycles of just dust caps. So we're fine on the food front. When it comes to the oxygen front, we need like 1 tile of polluted water or 1 tile of water. We got about 29 cycles worth there and another 200 and something. Wait, that's not 29 cycles. Sorry, that's about 100. That's 87 cycles right there and another few hundred over here. So we're good on that front as well. Though I would like to find some water sometime soon. We're going to get around to that straight after this. The moment we get this place boxed in, we're going to go looking for water vents and geysers. Well, there we go. We have literally turned this entire thing into one big room. This whole section here. So we should be able to turn it all into a nature reserve, assuming we can wild plant some flowers using pips. However, I didn't leave any natural tiles. I may have messed up on that front, but we can try making a few. Assuming they haven't patched this out, let's see if the manual airlock trick still works. The manual airlock trick is very simple. You make a manual airlock out of some sort of raw ore, usually copper is, well, copper, gold amalgam, something like that, and then you surround it on all sides, except for the top, and then you deconstruct it. And let's see if this glitch still works. Alright, Zflix, do your magic. Hey, still works. We get a raw copper ore tile. Alright, this destroys half the mass that goes into it, though, if you try and mine it out, but what we've done is made a natural tile. Normally, to make natural tiles, it's a real pain. You gotta heat stuff, liquefy it, then you gotta cool it down, and then there's all sorts of things. Or, you just use this door trick. We just need to do this 4 more times up and down here until we've got 4 locations for plants to go. So probably 1 here, 2, 3, 4, 5. Actually, let's just put in 5. Why not? Though it will cordon off our bedrooms. We're gonna have to be careful about that. Right, preparation work done. This entire area is set up to be turned into, well, a wild-planted nature reserve, which sounds really unnatural looking at the amount of junk we've got in it. I've also left in the buddy buds. Those buddy bud seeds spread out their pollen germs, and the floral scent germs just helps de-stress everyone. If you look under stress there, they're getting basically you get a 0 stress multiplier when you're playing on the highest difficulty level. So the minus 20% we're getting is counteracted by the plus 20 we're getting from morale. Well, that's assuming you keep their morale above 0, right? You keep their morale at 2 or 3 points above what they need, and they'll just get a minus 20, which is pretty much essential for survival. Then this smelled flowers is minus 5, and pleasant chit-chat they generally get, and saw friend. Those ones you can't rely on, but smelled flowers, that minus 5%, just make sure everyone stays around normal, and it helps counteract them when they get their toesies wet, or, you know, the normal junk like scalded eyeballs from walking through hydrogen and stuff like that. Blueprint-wise, what do we got? We got not a single narcoleptic. Let's just start rolling, I suppose. Actually, wait. Let's just pick them if they show up. If they if we like the look of them, we just turn them into an archaeoptic. That's how we'll roll it. So in that case, we will just print the care package. We have one more duplicate to go, and I completely forgot to cover our new duplicate. Please welcome Jonas Jalling to the team. They have been running along on the little dupe wheel here. They have ranching, farming, and suit wearing. So we're going to turn them into a rancher. They can have a side in farming, and maybe we'll let them out of the base at some point. But for now, they are running on the wheel. And as it stands, we currently have 5 duplicants running around. Oh, as it pointed out to me, astronomy does nothing. You don't get any science bonus from this. It's the +2 we get from data analysis that would be really nice. That +2 science just helps everyone learn their skills faster. But Ludicrous here can start learning that, or Licarius. Why did I say Ludicrous? Never mind. Everyone else has got their skill points assigned out, and we're just waiting for them to hit about 7 points or so we can actually utilize them correctly. Anyway, for now, we have several people let out. Grumpy Bear, Uzo, Jacques, Rati, Skinny Speaks, Zflix. All of them are capable of leaving the base and wearing atmosuits with no negative penalty. So what we're going to use that to do is go start out exploring. In fact, the first thing we're probably going to explore is this vent over here. I would like to see what this is. If we can get a look at that, we need a water source. Our polluted water is running out. The only water source we have found so far is a 95C saltwater geyser that is dormant. Yeah, it'll come back online in a bit. We will definitely be using that water source, but I would like to find a polluted or clean water source if at all possible, so we're going to hit this one up straight away. While we're in here, we're also going to grab that Treco. We would like to wrangle you up. I would like to get all the wild critters and start collecting them all into one spot. It makes it less concerning to deal with them. Also, we'll probably have uses for them in a wee bit. Yeah, sorry about the oxygen quality in here. It's going to be mostly hydrogen and then a bunch of chlorine, so this is not going to be pleasant. But don't worry, you've smelled flowers. It'll be fine. Okay, what do we got in here? Come on, give us a decent one. Don't give us a decent one? Okay, I understand. Breathing is important, but when you're ready... Okay, we got Leaky Oil Fisher. Ugh. Well, that's a big ball of nope. Anything else down here? No, that looks like boiling hot igneous rock. We shall ignore that. Oh, and a little point of interest building we don't care about with another anti entropy nullifier. I think we've got 3 anti-entropy nullifiers now. Okay, next up, there was a vent over here we already had a look at. This one is a minor volcano. We don't care about that one. This one down here is I think it's carbon dioxide. Yep, we don't care about that one. Out here, we didn't locate anything. And then, yes, this will be the next one we look at. This one requires us to go outside, which is why our duplicants have been well trained in the art of exosuit maneuvering. Yeah, Grumpy Bear. Oh, love it. There we are. Iron volcano. Well, it's good, but it's not water. And over here, we have found a gravitas shipping container. There seems to be someone in there, and if we do a few things, we might be able to gain access to the occupant, which I would like to do. That might take us a while, though. We've got a few more things we want to check before we start doing those little side quests. Namely, I want to check out all of the vents and geysers, and there's another one down over here, and on the bright side, yeah, that salt water we don't care about. We're just going to dig straight across here. We don't have to care because everyone's wearing atmosuits, and we're going to find out what this sucker is. What a difference a bunch of training makes. They are so much faster at getting down here. What do we got here? Saltwater geyser. Yeah, we are opening you up straight away then. That's 2 saltwater geysers? Might actually be more than enough water to run a giant colony if we need to. Perfect. Would have preferred a polluted water or a clean water or slush or something, but this will do. We just got to desalinate it. Again, it's going to be 95C, so we're going to need some steel before we can utilize this. But there are more vents and geysers out there we have to tap into and have a look at. We might want to dig across here and dig down, but first there is a vent right about... here. There's one vent over here, and there looks to be another one over there. And there also appears to be some sporkids I'd like to get rid of. This sporkid over here, it's basically living in vacuum now. So it's been effectively neutered. These things only work in atmosphere, and then they give off all these germs that makes them horrible to deal with. Like this one down here, let's say. But what's happened is, because there was, well, a slickster in here, it consumed all the vacuum, or the atmosphere, which is carbon dioxide, turned it into oil, and this thing just got stifled. So now all we got to do is, say, just dig in here a little bit. The oil will flood in, and then we can just dig it up. Or it'll just get flooded and dug up one way or the other. Really handy way of disposing of these, but we'll dispose of those two now before I forget and do something stupid. And because... oh, every time. Here we go. Someone came down and did 1 tile. Perfect. And dealt with. Next. And another flooded sporkid. Exit. Well, with that done, we can now dig across here with impunity to any of the germs around the place. Well, we're already in atmosuits, so it's not a problem. It's just, we'll find a use for those spore kids. People were recommending we should put some encased in glass in our dining area, which sounds horrendously dangerous, but I'm willing to give it a go. The reason they would recommend putting them in your dining room is they actually have very high decor. Problem is, of course, the horrible danger of them escaping and the germs turning everyone into zombies. Ooh, there's actually two. Look, there's actually one vent there, and I think there's a second one over there. Oh, and we should solve this puzzle. And I use the word puzzle very, very loosely. So this door is locked. There's a bunch of AND gates going around here. And you can decide how to open this thing up. Now, let's have a quick look-see here. We need this to turn green, which means this needs to give it a green signal. This is an AND gate. One is already green, so we need to turn the second one green. Oh my god, what's this? This is also an AND gate. So these two also need to turn green, which means this over here, you need to turn green. Perfect, that's one of those green. The second one needs to turn green, which also connects to another AND gate, which means you need to turn green, and you need to turn green. Nope, I said you. Perfect. So now all of them have turned green, and this door is opened. If you don't actually solve the puzzle, sometimes this glitches out and your duplicants can't get in here. I don't know why. We will rummage and inspect. There is a 3-ring binder inside. I scanned the surviving documents. Okay, grand. Well, with all of that done, let's get someone in here at least, and then we can rip this all down. And the first thing you want to rip down is the door. Because the moment you start ripping out those automation wires, well, you're going to have a few issues. Namely, the door will lock again, probably. Oop, this guy's almost there. Let's see what you got. Please don't be a leaky oil fisher or something like that. I'm guessing that's some sort of hydrogen vent of some sort. Oh, and let's queue up the next section of digs. Oh, there's a third one. Okay, in that case, we'll go through here. We can dig up and down probably this section and explore all 3 of them. And this one down here is a hydrogen vent. God. Just nothing good. Come on, give me more water. I suppose we've got 2 water vents. I shouldn't be complaining. But, you know, it's always nice to get more. Oh, I think I clicked on something. I saw something interesting and clicked on it. I have discovered a fossilized critter buried in my colony, at least part of one, but it doesn't resemble any of the species we've encountered on this asteroid. Where did it come from? How did it get here? And what other questions might these bones hold answers to? There is only one way to find out. Like, dig it up. Ancient specimen, frozen fossil, amber fossil, and petrified fossil. It's right here above, well, where we're digging up all of this stuff. So I just sort of saw it, and there's actually a spore kit in here as well. Yeah, that's going to make it fun to deal with, but that's grand. That's grand. We can... Actually, we can't crush all those germs, can we? We'll have to figure out a way to deal with those germs, but I think it's doable. And on the right side, we got more slime and polluted water and reed fiber that we can use to sustain our colony even longer. We don't even need to worry too much about heat or cold or oxygen or food for a while. There's just more and more resources falling right into our lap. When it comes to here, we've got a second hydrogen vent. So there's a hydrogen vent here, another hydrogen vent here, and I'm pretty sure we got another hydrogen vent somewhere else. Over here, we've got a carbon dioxide geyser. I'm pretty sure we've got more than one of those as well. And this one here looks to be only 4 tiles across, not 5, so we're probably looking at more hydrogen. Yeah, I'm just going to guess more hydrogen. Hopefully chlorine. Chlorine would be a nice change. Come on, roll us some probably chlorine. You're going to be chlorine? Actually, that looks like a volcano. Aluminum volcano. Oh, hell yeah. No. I'm quite happy with that. Aluminum volcano sounds deliciously tasty. We can utilize that quite nicely. Then we'll dig through here and explore the last of this section. We've pretty much what the... Okay, we haven't explored most of the map. There is a whole chunk over here we haven't looked at. That means there's more vents and geysers to explore. That means it's probably revealed more... Aha, there's another one of those, whatever you call them. Fossils. So that's 3 of the fossils, and there's the 4th one over there. So we've got an ice biome to work with we haven't even tapped into yet. We've got a slime biome over here we haven't tapped into, another slime biome, and there's more oil over here. Is that sour gas? Nope, that's hydrogen. Never mind, it's fine. Let's keep digging through here and see what else. Ooh, there's a 3rd oil well. That means petroleum boilers on the menu, or sour gas. Might do just a little petroleum boiler for old time's sake. Yeah, it's going to take a little while to dig through here. Also, there's a lot of diamond, and there appears to be a volcano in the way. More volcanoes. God, should we do a petroleum boiler powered by a volcano, or just geothermal power? There's so many power options. No. Our pip has been popped, and our pip has gone in here. We've auto-wrangled them over this area. Then what we're going to do is deconstruct that thing. Put that up there. What we want to do is get all the Joya seeds around here. We want to copy your settings over to this. Every Joya seed we own, all 7 of them, are right there. Now that pip, once it matures, should pick one of those up and try and plant it on the nearest natural tile, which should be this. And then we'll either drop them down or do something with them and basically get it to plant 4 of them all the way down here. Currently, we've got these ladder tiles blocking off the other slots. We just want to try and slowly do it one at a time in a controlled manner. Controlled, I say. Now, oil refinement. Yes, we need to get our hands on some steel. So I'm thinking we're going to put in a quick section down here. I've hollowed out this nice area down here to soak up some heat. But I think that oil is, what, 84 degrees? Yeah, I think it's time we go to the traditional old, use some oil to run through a metal refinery to make ourselves some steel so we can get ourselves an aqua tuner. Which means let's just dig ourselves out some space. In fact, this looks like a perfect area to go into. Oh, and they're singing again. Yep, they like working on the chain gang, eh? Okay. Okay, technically they're not, prisoners or anything, but they kind of are in a lot of ways. They're trapped in this place and there's no escape. Refinement-wise, though. Refinement, we are going to need to get ourselves a metal refinery. We can chuck one down right there. Plumbing-wise, we're going to pump up oil, dump the oil into it, and then on the output, which is here, we're going to dump that right back in. So, actually, the way up, we don't care. Just the way out, the oil is going to be a little bit scorchio. And behold our completed, very jerry-rigged sort of thing. This is 4 coal generators, 1 smart battery, and the reason we're able to get away with 4 coal generators is we made all of this wire here out of lead. Lead is actually a refined metal. It's terrible at heat resistance and all that. You don't want to really make buildings out of it, but wires are fine, so I'm going to have to worry too much about the heat. And here we don't. So, we're going to hook up this pump down here. The only thing to realize is this pump is made out of gold amalgam. Try to make this out of copper or something like that, it's going to overheat. It's above 75 degrees down here, so yeah, let's just make that out of gold amalgam, we won't have any problems. Not that I made it out of copper at first, and then, realized that I'd made a mistake, and then switched it over to gold amalgam. But this goes up here, and it pumps all of that oil. That oil comes up, and it fills itself into the metal refinery. Metal refinery can now operate, and what we're going to do is we're going to make ourselves some iron. Let's just make 20 pieces. We're going to make a bunch of steel, so we'll just make 20 pieces of iron into, iron ore into iron to start. That will be running off the oil. Then we're going to start making steel. Actually, for steel, we're going to need to get our hands on some fossil and some refined carbon. So let's just open up another little space up here. And that will also gain us access to those plants. Oh, here it goes. That oil is being refined. It comes in at 70 or so, and it comes in at 157. That's because the refinement process is a little bit heat intensive. That's okay. We're just dumping it down into this oil biome we don't care about. Now, we don't want it to go too hot, like getting above 400 degrees would be a problem, but we shouldn't have to worry about that ever being an issue. And wow, where are you coming from? Want to swim to the top? I'm already trapped. I think that is just an egg that hatched, is it? Someone go down and cut out that poor Sixter before it drowns. Seriously? You know what? Fine. If you want to die, it's your own fault. Okay, over here, we want to put in a small rock crusher. And we also want to put ourselves in a kiln. Kiln can be made of anything, but since iron ore is nearby, we'll chuck in one of those. And then we'll run over some conductive wire. Perfect. Now that this is up and running, we can make ourselves some lime. There's plenty of fossil around here. We could also do eggshells, but say, let's just do up 10. 10 pieces of fossil to lime. There's plenty of lime around the place. We're also going to need some refined carbon. That requires coal, so fine, 10 pieces of that'll do as well. We don't need this much, but I couldn't be bothered working out the numbers, so let's just... Well, we've got 1,100 kilos of iron. Make that 1,200 kilos of iron all done. Anyone want to get around to that refined carbon anytime now? And when it comes to the fossil to lime, we've even got a bunch of that done. How are we looking on new resources? Refined carbon, lime, and iron are all showing up. Perfect. Once you're finished with that, we're going to get you to make iron to steel. Do that forever. We'll basically take all that iron and turn it into as much steel as we can. We only need about 1.2 tons of this stuff. Well, exactly 1.2 tons of this stuff to make an aqua tuner, but let's maybe make a little bit more to be on the safe side. 300 kilos of cold hard steel. Well, actually, it's probably a little bit warm. 39.8 degrees. Okay, so it's lukewarm steel. But 300 kilos of this stuff so far, and I think we'll go up to about 3 tons. That way we can do 2 aqua tuners if needs be. Why not? We've got definitely plenty of heat to play around with. This here is, 92 degrees at the top and about 84 at the bottom. That's so much. We've got so much heat to play with. We might as well, dump it in there and be lazy about it. Oh, and while all of this has been going on, Our pip has planted. We have our first jumping joyous seed done. In that case, we will deconstruct this building, and the pip will get around to planting a seed in that. It might take them a minute. They do have a cooldown on how long how long between plantings they do, but well, you know they say, a watched pip never plants. And that's 2. Perfect. In that case, that can go as well. Once that's done, we'll have 3, and then we basically just need 2 more. Once we've got 2 more down, this whole place becomes a great hall, or not great hall, a nature reserve, and everyone gets 6 more morale points to work around with. And how are we looking? Oil's coming at 170. Just as long as we don't get even close to 400, we're fine. Steel-wise, we're up to 400 kgs. Iron-wise, we're still going. Lime is, however, a little bit of a problem. I am going to have to queue up more of that, aren't I? I've forgotten just how much lime you need to make. It's kind of ridiculous. It's okay that we're going to smash up every single piece of fossil in this oil biome. Every single last bit of it. Also, I believe these new things over here are a really good source of fossil as well. These fossil-like things you have to uncover. All of those are going to make sure we have plenty of fossil going forward. And by plenty of fossil, I mean smashed up stuff that we turn into lime to make plenty of steel. After smashing up lots and lots and lots of lime, we're getting close to finished. We have actually 2.9 tons of steel. We only made 3 tons of iron, but you only actually need 70 kgs of iron to make 100 kgs of steel. The reason being you're adding in 20 kgs of refined carbon and 10 kgs of lime. Carbon you get from the coal, lime you get from the fossil. Oh, and the reason we're going to all this effort to make steel is because it's of its overheat temperature. Simplest thing to look at is, here we go. A gold amalgam liquid pump has an overheat temperature of about 100. The reason for that is because it's made of gold, which actually it's 125, sorry, 125. That's because gold has an overheat temperature of plus 50. So we click on this and it tells us overheat temperature plus 50C. So it says it says 75C here, but this adds an extra 50 degrees. If we make it out of steel, it gets an extra plus 200. High temperature steel is really good for making buildings out of. If you want to, anything involving heat sensitive areas. So your steam turbines, your aqua tuners, all that stuff. When you start getting into the things, you're going to need a little bit of steel. Not to make the steam turbines, just to make things that can survive in the temperatures you're going to be dealing with. So that's why we're going to all of this effort to get all the steel, is it's going to make cooling and dealing with all of this stuff in the long term much easier. Now this jerry-rig setup is just to get us the bare bones started, to bootstrap the whole thing. Otherwise, you try and build it without steel to start, it's just too messy. Ooh, and I think there's a big cloud of chlorine down here. It's just, those zombie spores got into the oil. They don't multiply in there, but, we're going to have to dispose of them at some point or another. We might be able to, but we're going to need some petroleum to make some plastic, and that petroleum is going to be refined from that crude oil down there. And if we stick it in chlorine, it might actually kill off those germs, which is not necessary, but I would like to try just because we're here. How much we got left to go? We have 760 kgs of iron. Seriously? All of our metal refining is done? Well, for now, we've got 4.1 tons of steel. May have went slightly overboard, but I kind of have a tendency to do that anyway on these things, so no big loss there. We'll deconstruct all of this stuff, and now it's time to make ourselves some oil. Well, let's go down here. Dig ourselves out a little bit of space. This is going to produce natural gas as a byproduct, so let's keep it out of the atmosphere up here. You put a little tile there as well. I'm going to want to put a liquid tank on there. I think we're going to store our petroleum right there, and we're going to make it out of steel. Why not? We've got the steel to burn. And as well as that, it just means that if we do overheat it a little bit, it'll be fine. Ooh, actually, that's one thing we should do. We should put insulated tiles beneath it. When it comes to these liquid reservoirs, if the stuff inside it is really hot, it will exchange temperature with the tile in the bottom left. So if you make that an insulated tile, or you put it in vacuum and put it on a mesh or airflow tile, none of the heat should escape. And let's just make it both tiles, but I'm pretty sure it's only the bottom left, but I'll cover both just because I have been known to make a lot of mistakes in the past. Refinement-wise, we are going to want ourselves an oil refinery. Perfect. You're going to want an input of... Oh, never mind. Liquid pipe comes in here, output pipe goes there, and it immediately starts overheating, because I'm an idiot. I made it out of copper ore. So, make it out of steel. That would probably be the smarter plan. There goes the oil. Perfect. Now that oil will get refined in there into petroleum. However, you lose half. As in, you put in 10 kilos of crude oil, you get out 5 kilos of petroleum. And some natural gas that you don't really care about. It does come out at 75C though, so it's going to be nice and warm down here in the oil biome still. Oh, another thing we've done is this is to keep some of those slicksters alive. Slicksters have a tendency to get themselves killed somehow. They either drown themselves, which happens pretty frequently, or wander off and get themselves killed in a cold area, or I don't know, they just end up dying. So what I've done here is I've set up an automatic dispenser, and anytime we find any larva eggs, we're going to drop them on this tile. We can't get to it, so there's no infinite rooting loops, and the larva eggs will just sit on top of that tile, hatch, live, die, hatch, live, die. That's pretty much it. And we should be able to get all of them into one space. In fact, if we go back to our base, we've got this sort of sweeping area here. And what I'm trying to do is sweep all the wild critters I can find and put them in there. Just a sort of a wildlife sanctuary that we can have to draw upon when we need more of them. Though unfortunately, I'm not seeing any... No, not even grub bibs. If I find any wild eggs around the place, I sweep them and put them in there. This is sweep only, though, for now, because some of them were actually ranching, like, the Sweetles. In fact, how's our barbecue looking? 115,000 calories of barbecue. Yeah, may have gone a little bit overboard on the barbecue. In fact, we're going to cut back some more. I'm cutting back on the mushrooms as well, which is going to stretch our food supplies a little bit longer, because we just don't need them. And you, how much petroleum we got? 400 kilos. Let's do this until we got about, I don't know, half a tank? Let's just make it about 4 tons. Give us 4 tons of petroleum and we'll move on. That's about 3.5 tons. I think that should be more than enough for our needs. There's a big cloud of natural gas down there. We don't care. In fact, the gas pressures down here is so low, a little bit of that can flow down and help out. Okay, now we need to set up our actual refinement section. I'm thinking we put in an industrial brick somewhere. Oh, God. Is that a chlorine gas vent? Okay, we'll have to build around that. You see, I want to build it here because there's this big blob of heat that we can tap into later on, if we decide to go the whole industrial sauna route. But that chlorine gas vent is going to be a real thorn in the side. Let me think for a second. I think we just work around it. We can sort something out here. We'll just have this as our ground floor for now. Then we'll put on this floor, we'll probably have our metal refinement, and the floor above will be where we have our steam room. Or maybe a little bit higher. In fact, let's just clear out this entire area. Oh, but first I want to grab some more polluted water. We're starting to run a little bit low on polluted water over here. Well, not too low, but enough that I would like to maybe grab some of the polluted water that's lying around the map. That's like low-hanging fruit right there, and so is this. So we'll stick in a couple of liquid pumps and we can start pumping that into our storage tank. It takes a bit of time, so if we start it now, it's faster. Ooh, could probably pop over there and grab that stuff as well. Give me 1 minute here. After an extensive set of pipe laying, we have managed to get this over here active, so all of the polluted water out here is getting sent up to our main water tank over here, which means that will get fed into our oxygen, which will keep us going just that little bit longer. I don't mind that the tank is this... Actually, no, I do mind that the tank is this low. I like to have a good, decent buffer, and this just makes me a little bit nervous. So, taking a few minutes to grab all these liquid reservoirs around the map is a good investment of time. In fact, yeah, we're also going to grab this one over here and feed it onto the exact same pipe. I think we'll leave the last two, as in there's 2 pockets over here, and there's a bunch down here. I think we might leave those until later. Oh, and Boydra here is going around and they're scanning all of these saltwater geysers. That's 2 saltwater geysers we'll have scanned. This one here, where is it? This one? This one is active, period 64.8, and its average output is 2.8 kilos of saltwater per second. That's loads. That is plenty for the amount of duplicants we have. And this one here, 3.2 kilos per second? Ooh. Okay, so we got 5 kilos of salt water per second to play around with. That's going to leave us some options. Right, anyone want to finish that off? If you could just finish off that power wire. That power wire is actually made entirely of lead, and it comes all the way from the oil biome, where we're still using these to power all of this. Probably not the most... God. 1 second. When you get to that point where the water's too much, it's actually filling up the tile. There's 223 kilos, so we can't mop that. What we'll do instead is we are going to deconstruct that tile, slow down the game, and just as it's deconstructed, we should be able to get a little mop command down. Hopefully. I think, yeah, Uzo's doing it. Perfect. Oh, we may have been too late. No, we got it. There's a mop command in there. We couldn't get it for the other ones because they were still a little bit... Oh, never mind. But that can help you if there's, say, like 400 or 500 kilos of water. You can still get a mop command off. And once they start, they usually won't stop. And maybe we should prevent them from putting any more polluted water down there. I don't want any of that falling into the oil biome. I think a little bit's gotten in, so That place is going to get covered in polluted oxygen shortly. Well, we've got most of the water moving. You can see all of that polluted water popping out of there. We've drained the other section. In fact, our water tank is looking a little bit better already. It makes me feel just that slightly little bit more comfortable. Anyway, we're going to have to strip mine this area out. We need to make lots of room for the industrial brick we want to build. Well, we're almost done, and I was just going to look up steam turbines. I'm like, where's my steam turbines? Because I've researched everything we can research without going into radbolt production. And it turns out steam turbines here actually require radbolts. I'd kind of forgotten that was a thing. So we're going to need to meet... Oh, why do we not have that atmosuit repaired? Someone get around to atmosuit repair. And we're out of reed fiber. Oh. You might want to start growing more reed fiber. You know, no, we'll worry about that in a minute. For now, we want to get some science up and running. We're going to need radbolts, and we're going to need to do it quick and dirty. To start with, we're going to use a manual radbolt generator. Now, these things are maybe not the best, but we want to give a try to all of the techs just to run through them. We're going to try manual radbolt generators. We're going to try a radbolt generator with some wheezeworts, and we're actually going to try the radiation lamp as well. Why not? Oh, and while we're here, we're going to upgrade our power grid. I just realized it could have done this a while back. It's just we're still running on the normal terrible wire, and we have gold. Lots of gold. In fact, we have... How do we have 30 tons of gold because we've been running smooth hatches that we've been feeding on gold, and they've just been, well, they've been pooping out a ton of gold. Literally, several tons of this stuff. So, power wire, conductive, gold, and let's replace the whole lot. And then we can expand this even a little bit more. We just got to make sure to not leave a single unconverted wire anywhere on the grid. Though, let's see, we can snip off a few bits here and there. Let me do some playing around here and replacing of the entire grid. It should only take a few minutes. Perfect. Our entire core spine network has been replaced with conductive wire. That means we can now hook this up. We can support about 2 kilowatts of power draw. It just gives us a little bit more flexibility on our main grid. Now, over here, we're going to put in these material study terminals, which... Oh, yeah, we're going to have to extend the power supply. Yeah, probably should have done this already. Now, you come over here, and you know what? Let's just shortcut that. There's no point being neat. Now, what happens here is this thing is going to produce radbolts. Those radbolts are going to come out at a, well, the northeasterly angle. A 45-degree angle come in this direction, and they should pass right through this and then this. That means we should be able to keep one of these running at least at all times. I think we'll make this one priority 7, this one priority 6, and we can... Yeah, let's just crank up some radbolts. Give me 1 just for now. Oh, and we should probably stockpile some of those, some of the uranium nearby. How much uranium do we even have on hand? And we should probably start up that research. Steam turbines. Yes, please. And connected. Perfect. They're now awaiting radbolts. Let's enable this building. Oh, finally. Here's Skinny speaks. Skinny, fire it up. And that gave us 4.5 radbolts. Not exactly breaking the bank in terms of radbolts, but at least it's a start. Along comes Boydra. They can start the research, and oh my god, they just flew through those radbolts so quickly. I think we may need to up our radbolt production. Oh god. Right. Give me a minute here. For our next trick, we're going to use the radbolt generator. It draws a fair chunk of power. It's like 480 watts. And then to give it some rads, normally you'd use wheezeworts or something like that, but we're going to try the radiation lamp. I don't think this was around last time I was doing something this small scale. Let's make it just out of gold amalgam just in case things get toasty in here. We'll pop that right there and it should radiate that spot quite nicely. Question is, will this lead shielding help protect us from the worst of the radiation? Will it leak out and get to the rest of the dupes? If it's going to be a problem, we can always just remove it and switch to wheezeworts, but I'd like to see how this works out. Right, we have activated the radiation lamp by chucking in some, what is it? Uranium. So the uranium goes in, it's the uranium ore, it's not even fancy stuff. This starts to radiate this area out. Ooh. The rads ain't that bad. I probably should have double layered this. We can do that in a minute. But that means the radiation that's hitting this is 703 rads. That's actually pretty nice. And, oh yeah, that's way faster. We don't need to wind anything up. And once this hits 50 rad bolts, it'll fire out here, go up this direction, and start filling up those two. I think, though, what we're going to want to do is fill in the back of this. me check this. You know what? We'll put that there, and then what we're going to do is break this from this side and double layer this with lead tiles. The more lead tiles in here, the better. It should stop our dupes getting radiated on the other side, though I think they'll probably be fine. Well, double layering things in lead does help a bit, but let's just triple layer that to be extra safe. No need sterilizing our dupes any more than they already are, considering their general level of intelligence. And that gave us 54 rad bolts to work with, and I think I've... Nope, I'd switch the research up. Let's switch that right back to steam turbines again. The sooner we get them done, the sooner we get the industrial brick, and the sooner we're sorted. With all of those in there, how much are we actually going to get done? Probably not enough would be my guess. Yeah, we're going to need several more hits of that, aren't we? Doing a little bit of math there, it seems 70 rad bolts give us 7 science. So we need 13 more. We're going to set this to 140 rad bolts. This next shot should allow us to knock out all of steam turbines. Perfect. Now, where are we going to put everything? Of course, somehow I have magically managed to do 35 minutes of footage with it, doing the one thing I set out to do at the start, which was complete the industrial brick. I blame me on this one. I kept getting distracted, but we did get all of the steel made. We've got all the steel made. We've got a good liquid reservoir full of petroleum ready to be turned into plastic. Once we get the plastic, we can start making steam turbines. Well, actually, no. Once we get the research and the plastic, we can start making steam turbines. And actually, I'm not even... Yep, the steel, we want to take that because this steel only became available the moment we had refined steel. You can't get steel out of the gate until you have produced your first batch. So sometimes it's nice to actually rush a little bit of steel or plastic so you can hopefully get more out of the gate. The one thing that makes me nervous, though, is that we don't have a good source of reed fiber. We've got some toilet water overflow that we're feeding to reed fiber, but considering the amount we're burning through, the only piece we have planted is this one over here. I say we dig out a chunk, I'm thinking this side, we dig out a chunk of land, and then we just wild plant a whole bunch of reed fiber seeds. We have a load of them, and we have a pip floating around here somewhere, that one. So that pip can do the planting. Oh, and this place here is working out perfectly. This nature reserve just means all of our duplicants are getting a massive bonus. For example, Boydra here has been overloaded with skills. Yeah, they've got exosuit training so they can go outside. They've also got pretty much all the sciencey stuff. And where is it? They've got a +6 from Great Hall, +6 from Nature Reserve, +4 from Learn Skills, 2 from Washroom, 2 from Shift Break, 1 from Barracks, 1 from Duplicant, 1 from Poor Meal. We should probably switch them over to Barbecue. 1 second. In fact, everyone who's on the higher skill levels are allowed Barbecue or Cook Seafood. We actually have a bunch of Paku running around the place. Not everyone is on it. There's a few Duplicants that are not quite, well, skilled up sufficiently for the task at hand. For example, we have Alexander here, still a couple of points shy. Gamer, like 1 more point for Gamer 43. Jonas needs 3 more points at least. Lecarius needs another 2 points. Matthew needs 1 point. And then all of those can join the team as well. We're slowly but surely adding on. And I think for the next duplicant, I want to add the one that's over in the shipping container. We should probably knock that out and they'll join us. And that will bring us all the way up to the required 14, at least for the mid-game. Oh, and I do want to break into this as well, and in our exploring, we have located the sonium synthesizer thingy, which can give a boost to all our duplicants, but we'd need to dedicate, I think it's 4 to 6 duplicants to sleeping all the time to really utilize it. So this is more for a big base, which we'll definitely be doing, but I don't think early game we should be rushing it. Alright, I am going to cut this out here. Next time, I swear, we will start straight up with the industrial brick, and once that is complete, we will have most of the basics of the early game done. We will be past the mid game. Anyway, I'm going to cut this out here. I hope you enjoyed, and good luck.